Hello and welcome, Karen Gosling here. In this video I'm going to introduce you to the Romance Your Soulmate model. Now if you've had a look at our intimacy quadrant blueprint, you will have already seen the 5 steps to be able to build a successful and intimate relationship. And you'll see that a core part of this is what I call my Romance Your Soulmate model. It's a really simple way for you to be able to understand how all the moving pieces move in together and to see how creating a successful relationship is all about communication and intimacy. And as in building a community, there is a process that you can follow to do that. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. And we'll have a little bit of fun with this as well. So the Romance Your Soulmate model is all about building a trusting, lasting, long-term relationship with your soulmate. The first part in the romance is flirting. Now in life, flirting, or being the object of flirting, is stimulating and it's fun. It alerts you to the fact that someone is interested in you. Your body tingles with excitement, which heightens your brain power and allows you to be totally responsive to the one you're flirting with. In the flirting stage of a relationship, we display the very best of ourselves. We want that other person to be attracted to us. We take care of our appearance so that we look good. We take care of our hygiene so that we smell good. Limerence is the term used to describe these fabulous feelings that most of us experience in the early stages of a romantic relationship. We experience an urge to merge. Our interest is completely focused on our loved one. The high of limerence is due to arousing brain chemicals which are released when we meet someone we are attracted to. But is it possible to flirt with someone that you've known for a long time and been disconnected from? Yes, although those highly stimulating and arousing chemicals may not be as intense as the first time around. You can pay attention to your hygiene and appearance as you did before. You can be creative in making you and your environment attractive as you did before. You want to present the best side of you that you can. To do that, you need to get pretty clear on whom it is that you are and what you're offering to your partner. What's your style? It will be important to learn about your emotional style and how to control it. What this means is, are you someone who withdraws when things don't go your way or someone gets angry? It's important to know the impact of these behaviours on your partner. Part of flirting, you see, is to go out of your way to get noticed. So think about sending text messages, leave notes on his or her lunchbox, or a chocolate on the pillow, wear a new lipstick or a different shirt. When you're flirting, you're not out there just to make a good impression. You're out looking to build your relationship with the person that's going to be part of your life forever. So you must recognise the importance of love languages. Whilst loving was easy the first time around, now you may want to discover what your partner needs most to feel loved. Chances are your partner needs something different than you do to feel cherished. The ways of giving and receiving love are quite individual. You may think you're doing everything necessary to love your partner, yet you may not be meeting his or her need for love at all. Unresolved hurts and ineffective communication also play a large part in why relationships fail. The way you approach that is you want to make sure that the messages you're sending your disconnected partner are about communicating and building that relationship. As you're flirting, your partner needs to receive an indication from you that you're wanting to reconnect in a fun and loving way, and that you are prepared to work through old issues. So that's number 1, flirting. The next stage in building this relationship, in romancing your soulmate, this person who's your absolute ideal partner, is bringing your disconnected partner back to our place. So it's the same as if you've been out there flirting and you've found someone you think is the one, and the next thing you think is, how do I get him or her back to my place? In the context of Romance Your Soulmate, Our place is not so much a physical place, but rather your personal space where you're going to work on encouraging your partner to re-engage with you. Before you invite your partner back to our place, what you might want to do first is clean up a little bit. Try and clear as much trash or negative thinking out of your system as possible. You want to make sure before you get out there and start flirting that when you come back to your place, it's congruent with who you are. So if you've been flirting with your best gear on and you come across as really polished and making quite an impression, but then you get back to your place and it's filthy and you bring up dirty stuff, then it's going to be incongruent. Your partner will think, I've got the wrong person here. So you may want to make sure that when they come back into your space that you have set, that they can see at a glance what you're like. Remember, you want to attract them with things that are important to you both. You don't want to bombard your partner with things that he or she has done wrong. You want the space to be comfortable and relaxed. When you've been disconnected for a while, you may have to use your memory. Remember the thrill of coming back to my place and the anticipation of it just being the two of you, having plenty of time and total privacy to get to know each other better? Remember those hours that you spent talking, finding out more about each other, wanting to know all the things about what makes you each tick, and wanting it to be just the two of you together and alone? Well, back to our place is about recreating that safe place where there is privacy to talk to each other about how you really feel. It is about being vulnerable and leveling with your partner about your hurts and resentments in a constructive, non-critical way. Because if you criticize or attack, you'll get defensiveness or an attack back. But the most important thing going back to our place must do is entice your disconnected partner to start communicating with you. Effective communication is the key to any relationship. We were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we might listen twice as much as talk. This adage is a good one to remember at this time, as it describes the rules of communication in a relationship. You must learn to listen so that you can truly hear what your partner is trying to explain to you about how he or she feels. Active listening is a learned skill and an essential one in romancing your soulmate. So let's move into the next stage of romance your soulmate, which is courting. When you get to courting, this is still very much you doing the work. You haven't quite won your disconnected partner over yet. That's where courting is different to dating. Traditionally, courting is the period in which a couple have passed the initial flirting and getting to know you stage. They have become an item and are getting to know each other more deeply. But you still have to be careful with what you say and make your time together exciting and pleasing for your partner. When you are disconnected from your partner, is it possible to woo him or her back into a meaningful relationship with you? You want your partner to understand and agree to be receptive to such a re-engagement. You already know a considerable amount about each other, but what you learn in our program is how men and women differ in their way of communication and in their relationship needs. You will possibly realise where your relationship broke down and your disconnect occurred. With this knowledge, you can discuss what went wrong and take steps to ensure that it will not ever happen again. Do you think this would work for you? What's going to get your partner to re-engage? That's where you're getting to the courting. You've got to make sure when you get them back to your place that what you're offering is going to appeal to your partner. After our first date, my husband got me back to his place with an invitation of a home-cooked meal. Unfortunately, he didn't check first what I preferred to eat. He cooked what he loved, a prawn curry. I couldn't believe it. I'd never eaten a prawn and I'd never eaten a curry in my life. and managed only 3 mouthfuls. So now you're courting. Let your partner know who you are, what you stand for. Let him or her see what new knowledge you've got, what you know and what you're prepared to change. You've always got to keep in mind, how will I best stay appealing to my partner? Once that happens and you continue the courting and you're winning them over, then move on to the next step, the romance. In romance, that's when you know that your partner is starting to take a step closer to actually becoming your soulmate, that person who will be with you long term. In flirting, that's when they start to give to you and start to interact back. Once you've increased your relationship, you've got to make sure that you're asking for that romance that's been missing. You can't expect your partner to be able to read what you want. So the same works for reconnecting with your partner. Sometimes you just need to tell them straight out what it is you want. Tell your partner what your needs are, or remind them how you like to be spoken to. You've also got to let them know that you want to hear back, that you want feedback. So say, look, come on, I want a little bit of romance. You want them to romance you. So give them those opportunities to tell you what's in it for them, what they want from the relationship. For example, ask them, tell me if you're not happy. Or, have you noticed that I'm not so controlling? Or perhaps, did you realise that I make an effort to be punctual because I know that's important to you? Make sure the relationship is going both ways, and that's what you want to encourage. Romance is definitely about creating or resurrecting intimacy at all levels. To romance your soulmate is to resurrect or recreate emotional, intellectual, physical, spiritual, recreational and sexual intimacy. In her book, Good Loving Great Sex, Dr. Rosie King spells intimacy into me see, which describes quite simply what intimacy is. It is about letting your partner know and see inside of you. Sexual intimacy is not the whole of romance, but it certainly is an important aspect, so it needs to be addressed. When your sex life has dwindled or seems more obligation than desire, both usually want to get their sex life back on track. Our program provides you with ideas of things you could do to feel safe again with each other, to increase your desire. Not everyone understands the need to feel safe, but the reason why people withdraw from even sensual touch is analysed. Men and women prefer different types of sexual touch, and this too is discussed, as are various types of sexual engagement. Even connected partners differ in their desire for sexual activity at different times, and solutions to this are suggested. People stay in love over time because of displays of caring and consideration that become caring habits, whether in public or in private, in word or in deed. It is when the deadly habits become the commonplace behaviours shown to one another that first romance dies, then respect, and then love. Learn how to recognise the deadly habits so that you can play a part in keeping romance alive. So that's romance. It's when you give your partner feedback and opportunities to do the same. And if your partner finds what's in it is enough for them, they will want to build that relationship with you too. That's when you really start to build your relationship. And it can become very strong. Every time your partner takes a step towards you, they are saying, I'm with you. I want to be in this relationship. So that's the romance. Now we're going to look at the last stage, which is commitment, lifetime commitment. This is where your renewed relationship truly starts. A lot of people think that you can have a long-term relationship without making a commitment. You've been actually going through a few steps before you get here, and you can let your partner know that you desire a reconnection for sure. But you need to indicate that you are someone who is making a decision to be loyal, and you want someone who similarly is going to be committed for a lifetime, not just have a feeling back together again when things are going good relationship. Commitment is a choice. Recommitting to your relationship is a decision to re-engage and to stay re-engaged with your soulmate. Something for you to think about with this commitment is what sort of ongoing value can you give to your relationship? For example, to consciously speak your partner's love language. In real terms, this might simply be for you to become more involved with managing the finances and paying the bills on time. Similarly, at this stage, you may have to state clearly and also ask for the commitment. Somehow you've got to say, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You've got to have the confidence to say, I've got something to offer you. You know you love me. I would like for us both to make a commitment again, a decision, so that we can work on helping each other. If you're unsure about what to say to your partner at this time, I've provided you some things in the intimacy blueprint that you can say to him or her, depending on which mate type you are in the quadrant. This is where it gets very powerful and really quite simple. That's the commitment part of the Romance Your Soulmate program. And there's something I teach you through all of my programs, and it's how to reconnect and stay connected with your soulmate by using strategies to maintain effective communication and developing and retaining emotional and physical intimacy in a way that you're really going to be absolutely appealing to your disconnected partner, the one that you went out there with and flirted with in the first place. So that's a very simple overview of the Romance Your Soulmate model. We've talked about flirting, we've talked about coming back to our place, and all that should be congruent and really appealing to your soulmate. We've talked about how you're going to court them, what it is that you're going to convince them with, that you are the one. We've talked about giving opportunities for the romance, opportunities for them to be able to take steps and to contribute to the relationship. And best of all, we've talked about how to get that commitment. You've got to be sure you ask. Let them know that you're making that choice. Otherwise, they may never know. One other thing is, how do you design what you're going to offer in a way that your soulmate really wants? In a way that is simple and able to be repeated so that your soulmate is able to see that your desire for change is genuine. Okay, so this is what Mike and I do in our own lives and through our programs. I hope you too really master each of those steps and are able to implement them in a way that's unique for your relationship. Because for you and your lifestyle, there's no one style fits all. Once you know what the system is, you can implement it to your personality style, the way you like to work, the love languages you like to hear, and the kind of lifestyle you want to be creating. So that's the way I like to help you, and that's how my program fits into your desire to re-engage with your partner. It's designed to be able to step you through the processes to different depths, depending on what you want to be doing in your relationship. I'd love to hear your comments down below on what you think about the Romance Your Soulmate system. Any questions that you've got, please leave them down below. I'm very happy to come and answer them for you. I've also got one more video in this series where I share with you 3 questions that you're going to be asking yourself before you can start implementing the Romance Your Soulmate model. These are 3 questions that people miss out all the time, and it means they're diving straight in and they're not prepared. Next video, that's what I'm going to show you with those 3 questions that you need to ask yourself to make sure that you're in the right place before you can implement your Romance Your Soulmate model. I'll see you over there. Bye.